Today we're going to be talking about whether or not you should be considering shopping online for your next new bike. And there's some pros and cons, so I wanted to go into all those. Stick around, we're going to talk about all those different details. But before we do that, hit the like button down below. Please do that. Really helps with the YouTube algorithm, helps this video get promoted, and thank you for doing that. So let's jump into some of those pros right now. The first pro to buying a bike online is definitely convenience. If you know what you're looking for, it's nice to be able to go online and find the model and the color and the size that you're looking for, add it to the cart, have it shipped to your house, and you're ready to go. And you didn't have to walk into a bike shop and go through the sales pitch and have them try to sell you on something that maybe you don't even want. So that's definitely a pro if you know what you're looking for. Now, the next pro is also potentially a con, and that is price. It's easy to look online and potentially find a bike that's a little bit lower priced than a comparable bike at a bike shop. And that's because these bike brands that sell online direct to consumer have cut out the middleman. They've cut out the bike shops, so they have a little bit more room to lower their pricing. But if you're not a good mechanic, keep in mind that if you buy a bike online, you're going to have to get that bike assembled. You're going to need to keep it tuned up. And a lot of times bike shops include this in the purchase price of a new bike. If you buy a bike online and you need to take it into the bike shop to get it serviced on a regular basis, they're going to charge you full retail price. They're not going to give you any good guy deals like they might do if you bought the bike there at the bike shop. Another reason to consider buying a mountain bike online is if your local shop just doesn't have knowledge about mountain bikes. If you live in a very flat area, or you just don't have any trails nearby, or maybe you're in a city, there's a chance your local bike shop won't know much about mountain bikes. They might be very specialized in road bikes and just not have the knowledge to steer you in the right direction. If that's the case, it might be worth looking online and seeing what you can find there. Another legit benefit to buying a bike online is that you don't have to deal with people. Let's be honest, there's some people that just kind of suck out there, and no doubt there's some bike shops that have those people. So if you've already gone into your local bike shop and they've rubbed you the wrong way, or they just haven't been very friendly or inviting, maybe it's worth considering shopping online. Before you do that, I would say check around, make sure you don't have other good bike shops in town. Oftentimes, if there's a bad bike shop, there's also a good bike shop somewhere nearby. So look around, see what your options are. I definitely think that we should be supporting our local retail establishments if at all possible. But if the service is bad, I don't think it's necessary to give them the business. So check around though, see what your options are. And if you just don't have a good local option, buying online might be your best bet. So if you know exactly what you're looking for and you've got a pretty good understanding of the different components available and how to work on your bike, buying a bike online might not be a bad idea for you, but there's definitely some downsides. So let's talk about a few of those. The biggest potential downside to buying a bike online is the risk of getting the wrong bike for you. If you're not super knowledgeable about mountain bikes and you're not sure which bike is right for your local terrain or the type of riding that you do, buying a bike in a bike shop has a lot of benefits because those sales staff know so much about mountain biking, and especially your local mountain biking scene, that they're going to be able to help you steer you in the right direction. There's so many different bikes in so many different genres and categories that it's easy to get confused or potentially make a bad decision if you don't really know what you're looking for. So if you haven't already been into a bike shop, maybe it's worth stopping in and getting their local knowledge, because they ride the trails in your local area the most, and they're probably going to have a good idea of what works and what doesn't. So if you don't know exactly what you're looking for, think about maybe going into a bike shop. Another potential downside to buying a bike online is that they're a very technical product that requires setup and service and tuning. Similar to if you bought a new motorcycle or a new car online, you need that skilled mechanic to be able to set it up, to tune it, to diagnose a problem. If you're super knowledgeable about mountain bikes and you know how to set up your suspension, buying a bike online might not be a bad idea for you. And with that said, I know some of the online consumer direct brands out there say that the assembly is super simple on the mountain bikes that they sell. All you have to do is put on the front wheel and adjust your seat. But serious questions you should ask yourself before you buy a bike online are things like, do you know what height you should set your seat at to make sure you don't get knee pain? Or do you know what shock pressure you should put in your fork and your rear shock to balance your suspension correctly? Those are the things that skilled mechanics will know. And if you don't know the answer to those, you should highly consider going into a bike shop instead, because chances are you'll get a bike online and you'll go through the basic setup instructions, and you're just not going to get the performance out of that bike that you could potentially get. Another potential downside to buying a bike online is that you can't test ride the bike before you buy it. This is a little bit of a gray area, but most bike shops will at least let you take a test ride around the parking lot, down the street, whatever it may be. They're probably not going to let you go out and rip around on trails, but at least you can kind of get a feel for the bike first. Buying a bike online, on the other hand, once you take the bike out of the box, it's pretty unlikely you're going to be able to return that bike and get a full refund. Canyon, for instance, has a return policy, but when you look at the fine print, they'll charge you a restocking fee unless the bike's in completely unused, unbuilt condition. So look at those fine print details before you buy a bike online, because if it's not right once you get it, chances are it's going to cost you, and it's going to cost you more than the money you would have saved versus going into a bike shop. Sizing is another important consideration if you're buying a bike online. And there's some tools with some of the online consumer direct brands that help you choose the right size bike for you. But I've also seen some people buy the wrong size bike before. So make sure if you're buying a bike online that you know what size bike you need. Otherwise, you might consider going into your local bike shop. Again, if you just don't have the knowledge with mountain bikes, it's a good idea to go talk with the experts and make sure you're getting the right thing. So there you have it. There's some pros and cons to buying a new bike online. I think if you are a skilled mechanic and you know exactly what you're after, there could be some merit in the cost savings and convenience of shopping online. If that's not you, if you don't know how to set up your suspension, or you don't even know which bike is right for you, I would definitely start at your local bike shop. They're going to have so much knowledge and expertise and be able to guide you in the right direction and probably save you money in the long run. So hopefully this helps. Hit me up in the comments down below. I want to hear where you're thinking about buying your next bike. And be sure to subscribe to the channel down below. And we'll see you at the next one. Peace.